is that over the next 6 months, 12 months, next couple of years of your career, it is building a foundation of wonderful VIP buyers, dozens of them, not hundreds, but dozens of good ones for
Hmm.
specific assets, right? So like you have your multi guys, you have your industrial guys, you have your retail guys, right? Like this is sort of how I have my business set up, right? Like so I have a few in each category where I know whatever I pick up, I can pick up the phone
Yeah.
and I can call these few people. And I know that if it's within X criteria, these guys are going to give me an offer, right?
So how do you recommend I find more of those guys? Like I have a couple with deep pockets, not
So let's
sure
go
how
through it.
deep. Some of them go very deep but are not wanting to do business. Some of them want to do business, but I'm not sure how deep their pockets are. I can go on CoStar and find people who are trading that asset class we're acquiring, obviously. I
Yep.
mean, I can approach them and say, "Hey, I got a deal. Do you want it?" You know.
Well, look, so
Um,
let me show you. So like there's a couple things here, right? So I'm just about to share my screen. So I was just trying to log into the
mhm.
account. So this is I'm going to show you Reonomy real quick. Okay. Take Reonomy. You're in what is that? What county are you in?
Orange County, County of Orange, Santa Ana down there. I see it. No,
I'll just
let's
do
go
LA
back.
County.
Go back to what you were putting in there. It was down there.
No,
Town.
this doesn't matter
Okay,
down
that's
here.
fine.
Yeah,
You
so
can
here,
you
right?
go
Let's
ahead.
do this, okay? Just to give you some reference, because you can do it with anywhere. It doesn't really matter. But take LA County for a second. Because what you can do is just like, okay, let's just say that you're going to do industrial, right? Like just like you had mentioned. You're going to do, like not brand new stuff. Like this is if we're going to create a prospecting list. I'm going to show you
Uh,
one thing at a time,
Yeah,
right?
I
So
would circle the area she wants to be in Hacienda Heights, but yeah,
yeah,
but
so I'm saying we could do it anywhere, any area, right? So
hmm
we do, let's just say before 2000, we want to say how big is of a property does she want as an example?
10 to 20,000 square feet.
All right, so let's just say that we do 7,000 to 30,000. Obviously, she's going to look at like you're not going to find somebody who just bought something 2 years ago who wants to sell it for a fair and reasonable price. So we're going to start with the opposite. We're going to something it's been owned for 20 years. Obviously, they're going to have to include a phone number. And
Yeah.
ideally, we want somebody who owns maybe two properties or less in their portfolio. You can see here that there's only 1,500 properties that meet this criteria in all of Orange County. And again, you could do a company, you could do a person, if you want to start with a person starting, because these will probably be more motivated than if they were in a company and had multiple owners, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you can call something like this as an example. You said Hacienda.
Hacienda Heights, yeah. In City of Industry, that area.
Get rid of County.
Walnut.
So like as an example, if we called this list, Hacienda Heights is one.
Yeah.
But we can go backwards a little bit. Let's say we call every, uh,
City of Industry.
we'll just get rid of that. You said industry?
City of Industry.
Normally is everything. What's the town over?
Maybe it's across. It's in the Orange County. I don't know. It should be in LA, actually. It should be in LA County because the taxes are terrible up there.
I think they just have it as, here we go, orange. That's why it's just orange. It's not Orange County. We just call it Orange County. So in Orange County, right, like we have 2,300 properties. Now, obviously, we just have to put back the two things here. We said this, we said that. So that's 733. So like I would start with this list, right? Like if I'm you, I'm calling this list. Now, obviously, you can even do the 7,000 like we just said and the 30,000. So now you got 348 properties you're going to prospect. Now, here's where the magic happens, right? So now while you're prospecting this list, which I think would be a wonderful seller prospecting list, give you the highest likelihood of finding someone who might be willing to sell it for a fair and reasonable price. What you do is now you do the opposite to find your buyers. So just in case Sally, as an example, doesn't want to buy it, what you do is the following. You flip it around. So now you do something that you, instead of saying it hasn't sold in 20 years, you say that it has sold within the last 2 years. Because now you do apply and then you go to owners. Because now I can see every single person who owns something in that area. Now you have to get rid of the freaking two property thing because that would screw that up. Anyways, this is all the buyers who you would need to know if hypothetically your buyer, Sally, whoever, might want to buy, right? If she doesn't want to buy it, these are the people you can call.
Those are potential buyers because they're buying stuff like that.
Correct. And you can see exactly how many properties in the search. So these people own these many properties within Orange County. This is their total portfolio amount. This is how much their total portfolio is assessed for. And then you can even see when they last bought something. So like obviously you want to know that they bought something very recently. So it's like, okay, well, this person owns 34 properties. James, I would really want to get to know James. He owns a bunch of industrial stuff.
Yeah.
Leonard owns a bunch of industrial and just bought this year. Obviously, if I look here and like someone hasn't bought something since like August of 2023 and owns one property, the odds of them buying another is slim to none. So like I want to make sure that their minimum properties in portfolio, like again, you could go opposite. So I'll do like minimum two. So I'll hit apply. And then now it's like, okay, I only want to see the people who are pretty active in the space, so I can sort by how many properties in their portfolio. So everybody on this top, let's just say 50 list, you should get to know. And then these are the two lists you prospect all the time, right? I'm gonna hit stop share
Right.
for a second.
So,
So it's like
so this
you
is
got
for
yours.
my industrial buyer developing both sides of that marketplace. My next personal from my next acquisition probably should be a multifamily or something because I
Okay.
already have a duplex. I could exchange it for something else. So if I was
Mhm. I
representing
mean,
that I
you can
was a
exchange it
buyer of,
into anything. You can exchange it into an
yeah.
industrial property. You can
So,
exchange it into a triple net deal.
so I was thinking of developing a clientele based on my location more than my vertical silo, just because there wasn't any really clearly defined vertical silo here. Like I've got some multifamilies, by the beach, but nowhere else. Maybe Santa Ana have some of the old cities.
So what I've
Um,
done is the opposite, right? Like what I do is I expand geographically to the whole state, and I try to, and obviously now I'm not as niche as I was, but I was like, hey, like I was the multifamily guy,
yeah,
not just in my area, but this state. Like, and I would
yeah.
just prospect all the small multi stuff, 10, 20 units or less is what I focused on in the whole state of New
hmm
Jersey,
Do you,
right?
do you, I mean, you still like multifamily the best, or what?
Here's the thing, I can argue that I like multifamily a lot, but I like multifamily in certain areas, right? Like I'm actually not the big of a fan of multifamily in California,
Yeah,
right?
right, because they're a pain in the ass.
100%, and it's not a very tenant friendly state.
Right, and that's
I mean,
why it was
or
people
land.
moving
It's
people
not a
out of
landlord friendly state.
residential.
It's too tenant
Yeah,
friendly.
it's not a
Yeah,
landlord friendly state. Yeah,
exactly.
that's why it was people moving their assets from the residential into something else,
Exactly.
commercial.
So that's
You know,
why, and there's not as many buyers for multifamily. Now, look, you can take multifamily properties and you can go. There are still a lot that moves and like the small multi stuff, right? The sub 20 units. A lot of people still look to buy that kind of stuff in California for some reason.
yeah,
However, do I think that that's the only asset class I would focus on? Probably not. I think industrial
yeah,
is really hot in California.
yeah. We have a big port here. I mean, it's a little bit hard right now. It's going down right now because it was way overpriced,
Well, look,
and
here's the important thing, right? Like I think retail and I think industrial is pretty hot in California. Okay, obviously depending on the submarket.
retail and
But what's
industrial.
important to understand is that I'm not intentionally trying to call like prime stuff because every broker and their mother's calling them. My team, we burn and churn, $1 million stuff to $10 million product. Like million to 10 million, million to 20 million stuff is what we burn and churn all day. And we'll just sell like I'm the kind of guy where I'm like, look, you might not see my face selling huge whatever deals, right, where everything's really cool and traded, but I just burn and churn a lot of small stuff and I don't care, right? Like it's just
Yeah.
like it sells consistently. It's the easiest stuff to sell. Most people have it, and I'm not competing over 70 brokers trying to sell a $200 million deal. Like
So
where
probably I should
sometimes
just
you only get
prospect
paid.
whatever we have a lot of. It doesn't really matter if it's retail or industrial, whatever.
Exactly.
I'll stay on my path of moving people out of residential into multifamily. I'll stay on the residential to something commercial just because it's more California friendly. If
Yep.
I do multifamily, it'll be somewhere else, some other state. I don't know,
Yeah. And
Texas
just
or
and
Florida.
I think that's the right mindset here, right? And just like and
Yeah,
niching down to like this small 5,000 to 50,000 square feet product, right? Retail industrial.
yeah.
There's so much of it in California, it's crazy, and you don't have to deal with the same bullshit laws.
No, the industrial deal I did last year that I sold was easy. I mean, it was like here's the keys, goodbye.
Yep,
I didn't have to do all these disclosures. I didn't have to do all this shit.
that's really
They
what
knew
it
what
is.
to do. They had their own contractors. They came in, took care of it.
Yeah,
You know,
that's what it is.
and it didn't take any time to sell. I sold it to some Chinese lady with tons of money. They paid cash.
That's what you're going to see a lot of, especially if you're in those ranges of product. So I think that you stick to that,
Yeah,
and all I would tell you to do is expand geographically,
yeah,
right? You can start in your backyard. I would tell you to start prospecting your backyard first, and
yeah,
then you're going to go through your backyard in 5 fucking seconds. It's going to be
yeah,
quick. I mean, it'll take you a few weeks, maybe a month or two, right? Like, or within the next couple of months, you're going to go through everything in your backyard, and you're going to realize to continue prospecting, you have to just edge out. And it's like, look, everywhere you drive in California is going to be 3 hours.
yeah.
And I don't even go to the properties anymore.
Well, I was thinking to develop a second territory prospecting wise, even if I need to pay a guy with boots on the ground somewhere else, it would give me someone to talk to with some safety. So if California laws get so bad here and I want out of the state, I got someplace to go.
Well, I would tell
You
you to
know,
get a few.
I don't
I
know.
mean, all over the
Yeah.
state. Like get a Northern Cal guy, a Central Cal guy, a South Cal.
What state do you like right now for real estate? I mean, I think Texas is hot, but
Listen, every state has its pros and cons. right?
Yeah.
It's like you can argue Florida's hot, but then you have insurance issues, right? You can argue, argue that Texas is hot, and at the same time, it's one of it's still one of the most competitive markets in the country. You can argue that New York and Manhattan's hot, but it's got the worst rent control, probably worse than California,
I
right?
worked with a shark out of Vegas. We were buying and selling 8 houses a month at auction here during the last crash, And he used to do a lot of business in Florida. He said Florida is a tough market. It's easy to get a deal and hard to get out of a deal.
Yeah.
Just because, the economy can go soft on you and
Yeah, I mean, like, look, that's why, like, in Florida,
yeah,
you have to adjust. Like, in Florida,
yeah,
I honestly don't like the small stuff here. If it's not like 5 to 20 million, it's hard to sell because, like, a lot of people either have a fucking ton of money or they don't have that
yeah.
much money.
No, they don't have anything. They're retired and doing nothing. They're sitting on their few
That's what I'm
pennies.
saying. So, like, I have to
Yeah,
go a little bit larger here in Florida because the really small stuff's garbage. But in, like, New
right.
Jersey, I know New Jersey like the back of my hand. So if I have a $500,000 deal, I could sell it no problem. I have a $5 million deal, I could sell it no problem. A $50 million deal, it's no problem, right?
Yeah.
Even
Well,
though some of the markets have rent control and other markets don't.
if I wanted to run with industrial because I got it here, develop a little bit of experience here and that, and then flip it to Texas because that's where the transportation corridor is going to be, and that's where all the companies are moving to.
Yeah, why not? I think
don't know.
industrials are great. I think industrials a very good niche to focus on. And I also think that having the ability to be nimble and being like,
Yeah.
hey, like, I don't just sell industrial. I sell anything that makes money, right?
I also have Arizona between me and Texas, so I mean
Arizona's a great market too.
that can be a good market at times. It's a boom and bust like Vegas.
Yeah.
There's times when it goes straight up and times when it goes straight down. But
Well,
they
that's
are,
why, again, like I've joked around with a couple people since COVID where it's like, look, if you were an office broker in 2019, 2018, you thought you were crushing,
yeah,
right? Then 2020 came around and like if you were an office leasing broker, you were out of a job for the last 5 years.
yeah, no shit. I've got a couple big offices that may come up for listings. They're worth about 10 million.
Yeah,
Ones
but
that
at
worth
the same
20
time, it's
million.
like it's going to be tough to sell them.
It's going to be very tough. It's like
So
I
it's
don't
like
know.
taking a listing for that. It's not. It's like who really gives a shit?
Yeah, so if you were me, you would stay away from office, right? I mean, there'll be some sales on office, but who
100%.
the hell
I
wants
wouldn't.
it,
I
right?
wouldn't touch office with a 10-foot pole.
You'd go retail or industrial, and industrial is probably a lot simpler than retail. You don't have to deal with all the build outs and the TIs
I mean,
and
look,
all that
I
shit.
think they have their nuances. I think in some areas retail is crushing.
Yeah.
And you can like again you can get in Florida as an example in the hottest markets in industrial you can get like 30 a foot triple net.
Mm-hmm.
For retail, the hottest markets here you can get like 200 a foot triple net, right? So it's like and it's all full in a lot of areas,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
it's just like that's why you can argue that like what's better. I don't know if the better is the right word. I think there's pros and cons
We're
to
at
both.
300 a foot, by the way.
That's what I'm saying.
Triple net, 300 a foot for industrial too. That's why the cap rate was down like at 3 or 4.
What the heck was 300 a foot for industrial?
All of it up and around that city
No,
of
no, no, no,
industry.
no. I'm talking. I'm not. I'm
Oh,
talking lease.
oh, lease. Yeah, no, not lease. Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
so,
No, no. For
yeah,
sale, I mean,
for
there's stuff
sale. Yeah,
like in New Jersey, as an example, industrial in prime ports, 500 a foot. It's fucking insane,
crazy. Yeah, that's insane.
and it only rents for like 20-ish a foot.
Yeah, that's why the cap rate was so low on this stuff. I
Doesn't
was
make
looking
any
at it like
sense.